It's never been more clear than now that the Dallas Mavericks obviously wants this guy back. While the Dallas Mavericks are in hot pursuit of a point guard, they have many different ways that they can go about it. They could sign a player in free agency, they could also trade for a player, or the tried and true method, find an ex-Dallas Maverick that's available and bring them on back for a nice family reunion. I mean, we did it about 3 times with Seth Curry, so why not do that with another player that could help the team now? And a player that's been linked to the Dallas Mavericks for well over a year is Dennis Smith Jr., who has been invited to the 2-day free agent minicamp starting today. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Dennis Smith Jr. How long has it been that the Mavs have been trying to bring him back? What could he bring to the team? And how do they make this actually happen? But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 20,993 subscribers. Oh, so close to 22K. But if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related all summer long while we wait until the start of this season, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But like I said, the Dallas Mavericks have been linked to Dennis Smith Jr. for well over a year. The first video I put out on it was last year when we got this bit of news over the summer that the Dallas Mavericks are showing interest in Spencer Dinwiddie, Dennis Smith Jr., and Talen Horton-Tucker per the Stein line. Dallas could elect to keep the spot open in the short term, but league sources say that the Mavericks do hold an interest in re-signing Spencer Dinwiddie. League sources say that the Mavericks have also considered signing Dennis Smith Jr. and Talen Horton-Tucker, and we know how that went. We never heard or saw anything else of Talen Horton-Tucker or Dennis Smith Jr., and we ended up signing Spencer Dinwiddie on a very, very team-friendly 1-year veteran contract. And in retrospect, he actually played very well for us. Spencer Dinwiddie, no matter how you feel about him, the value that we got out of him far exceeded the $2 million contract that he signed for, as well as he also played the most games out of any Maverick, considering everybody was extremely hurt all season long. But the other day we did get this bit of news that some of the known players that will participate at the Dallas Mavericks minicamp is Dennis Smith Jr., Cam Reddish, Alondes Williams, Malik Williams, and Jalen Williams. That's not the same Jalen Williams that's in the finals. It's another Jalen Williams that is currently in the G League. And in yesterday's video, we already went over Cam Reddish, how he really doesn't seem like a player that we're going to go out and get, but more like a backup player. I'd argue that every player that's being invited to the free agent minicamp is a player that the Dallas Mavericks see in some way, shape, or form a fit for the team. There'd be no point in bringing on a player that they have no intention of signing, especially with everything that we have going on. A team that did trade away Luka, but did end up getting Cooper Flag. A team that can easily still compete if healthy. So why not take it serious when it comes to these free agents and these other workouts that we're going to have all summer long, as we do have contract negotiations. We have to see if players are going to continue to stay a Dallas Maverick in the future or if we need to make a quick pivot. And although Cam Reddish is far from a player like PJ Washington, we did talk about how he could possibly be an option if things fall through. But a player that actually addresses a need that we have right now would be Dennis Smith Jr., who was once a Dallas Maverick. We did end up trading him away to New York for Kristaps Porzingis. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, and Dennis Smith Jr. went on to be somewhat of a journeyman, where he really didn't stand out too much any one team too long, but he does have his moments where he can provide a lot for a championship team like the Dallas Mavericks. He may not be the playmaking point guard that we're looking for who could average 8+ assists a game, but I've said it many times in this channel, maybe we don't need just one player to just do everything Kyrie Irving did, but instead you find a player that can help us in some capacity. That way we have a very decent rotation of point guards, so whenever Kyrie comes back, whoever was there, cool, just go to the bench or further down the bench depending on where you are. But like last season, we didn't really expect Spencer Dinwiddie to be that integral to the point where he played the most games. So a player like Dennis Smith Jr. could easily hold it down until Kyrie Irving comes back. Him, Brandon Williams, Najee Marshall. We have mutual interest in Dante Exum if we decide to bring back Dante Exum. There's been no word on Spencer Dinwiddie, but I trust a point guard rotation of Brandon Williams, Dennis Smith Jr., Najee Marshall when we need to until Kyrie Irving returns, especially when we have a multitude of other talent in other positions. We've got a good center rotation with Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively. We have a great forward rotation between Anthony Davis, PJ Washington, soon to be Cooper Flag, Max once when he's back. We also have Caleb Martin. We have a very good shooting guard rotation of Klay Thompson as well as Max Christie. It seems everybody forgot about Max Christie. And of course, Najee Marshall. He can float between the 2 and the 3 as well. And obviously, our point guard position may be our weakest position, but it won't be the reason why we lose games. If we take a look right here, like I said, I put out a video about 2 months ago that the Dallas Mavericks and Dennis Smith Jr. had mutual interest in a reunion just 2 months ago before the end of the season. He was at one of the games, seen in the tunnel talking to Nico Harrison. Nothing much more has come from that until now that we know that we are inviting him to the 2-day free agency camp. If we take a look right here, his last contract was a very short 1-year, $2.5 million contract, which would work out great for us. Cool, we could give you that if you're willing to take that same exact contract. It would be perfect. Dennis Smith Jr. did have a lot of interest overseas, but he forwent all of those offers overseas to try to make a comeback in the NBA. And just like Dante Exum, who was playing overseas until we brought him back, bringing back someone like Dennis Smith Jr., which a lot of fans love. He isn't necessarily the greatest playmaker, although he is an amazing defender, which is something that a lot of people think that we need. We need a defensive-minded point guard. Cool, go get Dennis Smith Jr. He's still very athletic. He can still score at will. He can still attack the basket very efficiently. May not be the best three-point shooter or free throw shooter. May not be the worst, but I think that he would fit excellent with this team. And with everything going on, why not bring back somebody that's familiar with what we have, that obviously wants to be in Dallas versus being out of the league? A $2.5 million contract would be nothing for us, as like it's been stated before, once we sign Cooper Flagg, we will be in the second apron. If we cannot come out of that second apron, whoever we add will unfortunately have to be those lower tier contract players. And like I said, $2.5 million, that's the last contract he had in Brooklyn. Sure, I'll give you that same exact contract. You don't have to bring back Dante. You don't have to bring back Spencer Dinwiddie. Just go out there with Dennis Smith Jr., rotate with him, Brandon Williams, Najee Marshall, and everything will be fine. And just taking a look at his stats over his entire career, it's been up and down. Like I said, Dennis Smith Jr. has been somewhat of a journeyman. He was great for us. He was 5th in Rookie of the Year, and then things just kind of fell apart. We ended up trading him in just his second season to New York, where he played out there. He went to Detroit, Portland, he went to Charlotte, finished out in Brooklyn, didn't play last season, looking to make a return. He will be working out with us today and tomorrow, hoping that he does find a way on this team in some way, shape, or form. I am a fan of Dennis Smith Jr. I've loved his athleticism. I've loved the defense. And although a lot of people, myself included, would argue not the biggest and best playmaker, but for a career, he's averaged 4.2 assists. I'm not mad at that. He also, for a career, shot about 29% from three. Like I said, the three-point shot isn't really there. His percentage from the free throw line, about 67%. That's very much in line with the rest of the team. We're not the best free throw shooting team at times, it feels like. But everything else, it just screams yes. A cheap contract, someone that's familiar with the team and wants to be here. That's the most important thing. You want to be here after everything that's happened. It's good to know that someone wants to be in Dallas. But the defense is great. If he can get me 4 assists a game, cool. It's not the excellent and elite playmaking that we may be looking for, but that's not something that you definitely need. Of course, there are bigger and better names available that we could obviously go out and get, but it's not about that. It's not about the star power. It's not about who can fill out a stat sheet. It's who fits this team best, because not only do you have to be able to handle starting point guard duties now, you have to also still flourish and excel once Kyrie returns and you're having to play alongside him or coming off the bench for him. And I, for one, out of a lot of these point guards that we've talked about, I think Dennis Smith Jr. is a great pick. Like I said, defense, cheap contract, wants to be here. What else are you looking for? The availability, if we take a look at the last several seasons, last year he played 56 games. The year before that, 54, 37, 20. Those were obviously due to him just floating around the league. It wasn't anything due to any major injuries, anything that would really stand out for the Dallas Mavericks, especially since everybody's been injured this last season. 56 games, obviously he didn't play the full season, but I do think that Dennis Smith Jr. is a reliable player. He played 69 games his rookie year, 53 his second year before getting traded to New York, so it stands to reason that he could be that force. He could be that point guard that just helps out until Kyrie returns, comes off the bench, and compared to the other players, he's got a nod from me. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think Dennis Smith Jr. is a good pickup, especially in free agency on a very cheap deal? Or do you think there's better options out there? We don't need to bother ourselves with players that didn't work out before. We got to move forward. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We could have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for being part of the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, take care, drink water, peace.